We're only halfway, not even halfway through spring. The fires on the New South Wales coast are a bit of a warning of things to come. The blaze is still burning near Bermagui in the Bega Valley. The area, that same area, devastated by the Black Summer bushfires just a few years ago. Joining me live now is the New South Wales Emergency Services Minister, Jihad. Jihad, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it. We're all looking at Bega at the moment, really worried about what's to come this summer. We spoke to the Bega mayor and he says for his area, look, they can't even really do much more hazard reduction burning. Is that true of most areas in New South Wales, if not all?
Yeah, good morning, Laura, and thanks for having me on the show. And I think it is true. And I was down there yesterday with the mayor there and the two local MPs, as well as the Prime Minister and the Premier. We've been doing as much hazard reduction as possible. But, I mean, having seen what the devastation the fire caused, you can do as much hazard reduction as possible. But there were just some things that are completely out of our control. As you said at the outset, we're only halfway through spring and we've already had some serious fires. Like just today, for example, there's 51 fires burning across New South Wales. And of those, I think 18 are yet to be contained. That's a real worrying sign as we get into the, El Nino and, a summer that's going to be hot and dry.
Well, what is being done differently this summer than we have seen in previous summers where bushfires were such a threat?
Well, we've tried to do as much hazard mitigation and reduction as possible. And one of the challenges is, I don't think anyone wants to hear about all things that happened in the past, but we have been hampered by the amount of rain that we've had, particularly over the last couple of years. To be able to do some hazard mitigation, what some people might refer to as burn, has been a bit difficult. We've tried to make sure that the tracks have been clear. But the other thing that we've also been really working on is something I was so impressed yesterday when I went down the South Coast, was we've been working at much better in terms of response and about bringing those agencies together. And I think if there was any lesson to be learned, in the first instance, we want to avoid a fire. Second one, we want to get to it as quickly as possible. But then the third one is to make sure that we support communities as quickly as we possibly can. So we've taken those learnings from the past and tried to make sure that we don't make those same mistakes again. But particularly down the South Coast, for many people, it's the triggering element. There are areas that burnt yesterday over the last couple of days that burnt as well in 2019, 2020. They weren't expected to be burning again. This is just that ferocious nature of what we're dealing with at the moment.
Is there a chance that people could lose their homes twice in just 4 years?
Well, that'd be a horrific scenario, and we really hope that isn't the case.
But are you worried about that, though? Is that a real possibility that you have to consider as Minister?
Well, of course you do. And, and that's why you just try and make sure that we get as much as a hazard reduction and we address those issues about where we can attack fires as quickly as we possibly can. I've got to give a really special mention here to the RFS who worked as well with other agencies, including Fire and Rescue and the other agencies as well around the emergency services, in the fact that at this stage we've got 3 homes that we know that we've lost. We're still waiting on a few more. Some of those parts that the fire was there are still too dangerous to enter, so we don't really know 100%. You would imagine if you put yourself in the people's positions who had lost their homes in 2019, 2020, it'd be a worst nightmare scenario. I mean, just the fact that there was so much smoke yesterday was enough to really trigger people again and brings out that PTSD. We've established now some mental health support teams. We have the evacuation centres. But in this portfolio, unfortunately, sometimes you always have to think of the worst case scenario. You plan for the absolute worst and you do everything that you can so we get only the best outcome possible.
All right. Well, we look forward to talking to you on a regular basis this summer, and hopefully most of it is on the good news front. Jihad Dib, thank you.
Hopefully. Thanks a lot, Laura. Speak to you soon.